Hey guys, welcome to Tinfoil Hat live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. That's right, Wolfpack Gold. Just go to samtripoli.gold. Use the promo code Tinfoil and you too can get in on the Press Metals game for as little as $50 a month sent right to your house. Very excited. It is exciting times here at Tinfoil Hat. We are hurling towards the big 1000th episode, and we're trying to get all the greats on here before the 1000th episode, and this guy is on Mount Crushmore. And we're always excited to have him on the show. He's geared up. He's got the right gear on. One of the most organized studios I've ever seen in my life. Just absolutely beautiful, dude. Please welcome our good friend from Mount Crushmore, Isaac Weishaupt. How are you, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me back. I hope I can live up to that wonderful intro. And yeah, my studio is AKA the spare bedroom across from the bathroom, and it's full of. I'm actually a listener sent me this awesome Kubrick artwork, and it fell off the wall the other day because I didn't mount it correctly. I got it, so it looks kind of chaotic, but it's all right.
If that's chaos, I am fucked. Because this is chaos. There's no organization here. There's just throw books up, look like you're important and intelligent. Hey, man, very excited to have you on. Before we start, just tell for those who haven't seen your numerous appearances on our show, tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you.
So my pseudonym that I've been researching under is Isaac Weishaupt, not my real name. Thus, I'm not related to the founder of the Illuminati. So let's dispel that right away. I got to do it every time. And I started blogging in 2011 with IlluminatiWatcher.com. It then sort of morphed into writing books since 2012 and podcasting in 2014. I'm on my third YouTube rebuild, which, by the way, at Occult Symbolism, all one word, is my new YouTube for people that want to find me on there. I'm rebuilding. Supposedly, YouTube's letting us do things now. So that's kind of the journey. And I think I want to say that I might have been the last tinfoil hat with Aaron. I think the Nipsey Hussle episode.
Oh, wow.
Shout out Aaron. Miss Aaron.
Shout out Aaron. Oh, we miss Aaron.
I think so. But anyway, so yeah, it's been cool to sort of be involved with the tinfoil hat revolution here, right? So I'm you guys are the best conspiracy podcast there is, bar none, and for a variety of reasons, right? Like because I do a lot of like analytical from the perspective of like information to entertainment, because some shows like, and this isn't a diss at all, but like Greg Carlwood's Higher Side Chats, like the dude is like, we're getting information like drinking from a fire hose, and sometimes my brain isn't ready for that. You know what I mean? That's why you guys are great, because like you find a way to make this stuff digestible, and I try to like learn from you guys in a way to try to make, because I'm the same way as Greg. Like I'm very analytical, and I'm taking notes, and I'm pulling out the factoids here, and I think because my brain is a little more like wired for that kind of thinking, and I try to make it more entertaining, because I'm like, oh, okay, it's like people are glazing over at a certain point. So anyway, you guys are the best. So I congrats on your 1000 episode.
Yeah, we're excited, dude. Are you coming? I thought you said you were coming. Can you make it?
No, I couldn't. No, you guys are too popular. You sold out. I literally,
Buddy, I think come and hang out in the back with us. I'll bring you into the green room, dude. I think we get 20 people. I'm just getting like all the guys on the show, and anybody who works on the show gets to come back to the green room. But if you want to come and hang out, dude.
Oh man,
I know
that's
it's late night.
I
know. Yeah, if you want to, I know it's late in the game, but just know the offer's there. One thing about Greg is that him and sorry guys. What's the other one that is really big? The guy who was on MTV. What's his name? Adam.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're saying.
Yeah,
no agenda. No agenda.
Right? Those are the godfathers of this whole thing. And like we always said on Tinfoil Hat, that this is like the training wheels to get to those guys, to get to your show. Just we're kind of the foreplay before you go to the deep waters and start getting some really good information. I just find it very interesting right now. I know you want to talk a lot of UFO stuff, which I'm very excited about. We're just inundated with so many psyops on psyops on psyops. This Thomas Massie thing just happened. And I just want to say something real quick. This is Sam speaking, nobody else. Man, that guy is way too happy at his concession speech. Like, I was really amazed at how much that guy was laughing and having a good time. It really blew me away. So we have that going on. Democracy seems to be dying in front of our eyes, or that's the illusion. Then we have, what is it? Ebola now. Trump's bringing Chinese people in. Is this the craziest heel turn you guys have ever seen in your life?
Other than WWE, yeah.
Yeah, you're still on your other microphone, dude. You just sound like you're in a hole right now or a cave. But yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy.
Well, the whole thing. So, I've been researching the occult. Like, everyone's got their own sort of like wheelhouse of things they're interested in, and mine is the occult, religion, philosophy, and how that manifests in pop culture, entertainment, film, movies, and all this stuff. But it's becoming more laced into reality and politics, which kind of sucks for my audience, because I was always the guy who avoided politics.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
And going back to my first book, I avoided religion as well, but these worlds are sort of colliding into each other. And like with the Thomas Massie thing, for example, he was the guy, obviously we all know he's the guy who was campaigning to release the Epstein files, which we got anywhere from 2 to 50%, depending on who you talk to. There's theories about what's out there. And he also, I remember a lot of people rallying against him because he was apparently in the Order of DeMolay.
Yes.
Which, for people who don't know what that is, that's a sort of youth Freemasonic organization that initiates young people. And I thought, and I kind of rejected that. I was like, this guy's trying to release the Epstein files. Like, I support Massie. I like what he says. I'm all about this guy, right? But then people are like, no, he's in the Order of DeMolay. And I was like, I don't know, guys. Like, maybe we're wrong about this one example, but then you're right. Like, he's a little too okay with losing against, and you see the finances behind his opponent, which I don't even know the guy's name. Like, that's how unknown this guy is. And Thomas Massie
or something like that. I don't even know, dude.
Yeah,
Ryan. Yeah.
So I just think maybe a lot of this is scripted. I always say, like, maybe I'm like the worst conspiracy theorist ever, because some of the stuff I think a little too rational. I'm like, no, that can't be. That's not right. But then stuff like this happens. I'm like, man, maybe these conspiracy people are right about everything. And the Order of DeMolay is a very sorry. Let me button that topic up. Order of DeMolay goes to it's a reference to Jacques DeMolay, the I don't remember his title, the Grand Wizard of the Knights Templar, when they got shut down and disbanded, and he got burned at the stake. And the Knights Templar, which is, depending on who you listen to, like I've been listening to a lot of Professor Jiang lately. Do you guys ever check him out?
Yeah, I like him a lot. Everyone's like, he's a control op. I'm like, it's just everything. My whole thing with that, and I'll let you go back, but it's like I listen to anybody until I don't listen to them, right? So like everything is in a karate stance with your head on a swivel. And if they fake the funk on a nasty dunk, then I'm fucking out. But until that moment, I'm listening, dude. It's like to sit there and be like, everyone's controlled op. It's like, I don't know, dude. That seems exhausting to me. If the information seems correct, why not listen? It's like the same thing with, like, if you compare Ben Shapiro to like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Okay. Yeah, they could all be controlled, but two of them seem to be growing because their information seems to be more correct. The other one seems to be dying. So people go to where people go where the energy flows, dude. And that's my opinion on that. So as far as I can tell, I like everything he's saying. He seems to be on point. And then till the moment he gets it really wrong, obviously wrong, we all know he's wrong, I'm going to listen. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And there's good. And I think people think that means I support and believe everything Professor Jiang says. Look, I get it. He's teaching from a different country, China, which is supposedly our biggest threat, whatever. And I don't know how much I believe in any of that either.
Yeah.
But and then he also has like this Gnostic belief system that I don't agree with. Same with David Icke. He's very Gnostic, and I choose not to believe the Gnostic thing, but I could be wrong, right? Someone on YouTube was like, "Oh yeah, I remember when Isaac wasn't such a hardcore leftist," and I said, "Well, like, convince me." Like, honest to God, like I'm not a Democrat. I literally can pull my voter card. I'm what do you call it? Unaffiliated, wherever they call it. And I'm like, well, convince me that I'm wrong, and I'll like same with Gnosticism. Convince me that this is a prison planet, and I'll switch. Like I'm not married to my beliefs, because one thing I've learned over these years, and that's why when we were talking before the recording, I was like, man, my life lesson is to just shut the hell up about other people, because I find myself I'll critique someone, and then a year later I'm like, man, maybe they had it right the whole time. What the hell am I thinking? Like, what do I know?
Yeah. I agree.
So and that Thomas Massie thing, I don't know. Obviously we don't know the answers to this stuff, but the connections to the Knights Templar, which and that's why I brought up Jiang, is because he had a video where he was saying that the Knights Templar were basically the Freemasons and so on. And he connects it into the big thing, which I've been working on, is zooming out of everything and going back to the Garden of Eden and connecting it through a straight lineage all the way to AI and where they want to take us, which was kind of the main thrust of the topic I wanted to discuss today, going from UFO disclosure to AI, and how this is all really just an occult ritual to get rid of humanity. They want to evolve us into something completely different. Will it happen? I don't know, but it's kind of scary, because when I look at all the information and all the plans and philosophies that all of these secret societies and weirdos are into, I'm like, maybe they're right. Maybe this is where we're headed, and that's kind of scary that we're gonna find out in the next probably 20 years.
Well, they seem to be going for it. You know, the other day on we had Alex Stein on prime time, and he was just like, "You're an accelerationist, right, Johnny? Is that what they call it?"
Accelerations, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm not, but part of me is like, crank it up, dude. Like, let's just get to where we want to go here. I'm so, it's like you could do all this shit if you just gave us nice things. Like, can we have nice things like fun movies and fun drugs, and our food doesn't poison us, and our waters? If you gave us all that, we wouldn't give a shit. We like just, but the whole way they're just like, it's very interesting to me how nobody seems to care outside of us. And it's like, humans are obviously animals, but like any animal, we kind of conform to our pen. And like, if you give us a big range to roam, we'll enjoy that. But as the pen gets smaller, we adapt until we're pigs in like a tiny pen. And it just seems like that's what they're doing. They're just making it smaller. I've been talking about they don't want you to fly forever. These 50-minute cities seem to be coming, and nobody seems to care. No, I like, you go to Instagram, not one Instagram model gives a shit about the New World Order. They're just all ass up, face down, and it just doesn't even seem to care. I mean, like, I think they really want to roll out this UFO thing, and they're just like, nobody cares. It just like they put out that Christmas ornament. It's like, look at this alien. It's like, it looks like a Christmas ornament, and you're like, nobody fucking cared. It's like a very interesting time, but they seem to be going for it. This seems to be the move right now. The acceleration to $1 trillion, $100 trillion debt. Just this war that's going on, all this crazy ass shit, these AI centers, crazy ass shit. So it seems like they're going for it. I'd love to hear what you've learned.
Yeah, I think that this is like back when I wrote my first book, which when I read it today, it's a little cringe to me, because, I was very amateur at writing, and not that I'm like terribly better today, but the first book I talked about the digital matrix and how that was the plan. And that's one of the theories, and I'm not like, it's not some original theory that only I ever came up with, but it was something I really believed in. And because I have a background in math and engineering, and I believe that's maybe why my brain sort of locks in on this, because I can see how things are headed in this direction. And it's interesting because the things I've learned over the years, like the history of secret societies, you go back to Pythagoras and Plato, and Pythagoras, he had he had the world's sort of first secret society, and they had all these rules about how you had to have so many years of, a vow of silence for 5 years. You had to study mathematics for like 20 years or something crazy before they would let you in on the secrets, because the secrets is that there's this Cabalistic interpretation of reality that we're all just bits and numbers, and that's how God speaks to us, and that's how they will become gods. And I think that that's where we're going, and that's why we see, just like you were talking about, that's why we see these billionaires building these massive bunkers, including the White House, the Golden Ballroom, and now we're finding out it's this complex underneath the ballroom that's the real thing. We see AI data centers being built absolutely recklessly everywhere. In Utah here, there was this huge protest against Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who I loved Mr. Wonderful for many years, right? Because I always liked the wrestling heels, so of course I thought he was funny, right, on Shark Tank. And he's building the world's largest data center, and it's something like 40,000 square acres or something like that. And it's crazy because in Utah, the last 10 years, we've had this real issue that just keeps getting worse about the same stuff everyone deals with, drought, but particularly we've got the Great Salt Lake, which is drying up. And the problems that happens there, because we have, without getting too nerdy and boring for people, the reason we have the greatest snow on earth in Utah, everyone comes here to ski, that is because we have what's called the lake effect, where the body of water that is the Great Salt Lake sort of creates this feedback loop with the weather system and increases the snow on the mountains, something to that effect. And what's happened is as the climate here gets warmer, water temperatures, or the water level drops at the Salt Lake, that lake effect, it doesn't exist. So like last winter here, we had the worst snow ever, like virtually no snow.
Oh my God.
And as the lake drops, it's exposing this lake bed that hasn't seen the atmosphere, the what do you call it? That hasn't seen the air in, I don't know, millions of years or something like that. So there's all this arsenic and terrible heavy metals and stuff that's now being put up in the air, and it blows all over the valley.
You're talking about City Park, right?
Park City, right?
Park City, yeah. There was no snow this year. A lot of my friends that snowboard did not even touch Utah at all. So it was that bad of a season?
I don't know. I don't ski or snowboard. I'm not from Utah, but from what I understand, they sell season tickets before, like at the end of summer, they'll sell the season ticket, which I don't know how much it is. It's too rich for my blood. Like, I don't know, $500, $1,000 for a ski pass. And I guess that's the gamble you take is, are we going to have snow this year? And this year it didn't happen, right? And so anyways, we're in the midst of all this chaos of them saying like, hey, you got grass, you got to let it die this year. They've been doing this for the last several years. And now all of a sudden they wants to build this data center that's going to use natural gas generators which will increase the temperature all around the area of 5 to 15 degrees. It'll use water. And like Kevin O'Leary's like, no, it's not going to do any of these things. And like, how do you trust these billionaires? Like you can't, you don't.
They even employ a lot of people. Do these data centers actually employ like a good amount, or is it just a couple of handfuls?
No, but the real question is like, okay, these data centers are putting out all these chemicals and dirty electricity in the environment. What's it going to do to the employees there? Like, you're going to see like people taking jobs because they need jobs and getting cancer right out the gate, unless they're walking around in hazmat suits that don't allow them to get just burnt by the energy. Like, it's going to be crazy, dude. It's going to be crazy. And the last thing I want to say is like, this one town, the city council, against everyone's wish, voted in AI centers. So the whole town voted them all out, kicked them all out, and banned the day. That needs to happen. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. The days of not paying attention to your local politics are over. It's over. You have to get involved if you don't want to live in a polluted, disgusting, culturally dead fucking world.
And they're also, I don't know if you followed, there's this girl who's doing a great job of exactly what you're talking about, taking an interest in local politics. They're using eminent domain to take people's homes and their property to build these data centers and the cable routing that they need. So there are so many people who are going to be affected, have their homes taken at cut rates You know, or the worst thing they'll do is just run right down the middle of your property and split it in half. And they say, hey, we can do that, or we'll give you, you know, pennies on the dollar for what your property's worth, and then you can fuck off. And
these city council people shouldn't have a normal day for the rest of their lives.
That happened here in Utah, in Box Elder, where they're doing this. There was all these protesters that showed up. I even paid. There was a thing where you could pay $15 to do like this petition through the local government for them not to, I don't know, get the whatever rights they needed. So I did that. Like thousands of us did that, and Kevin O'Leary was like, "Oh, these are all paid protesters shipped in," and
I saw that.
I was like, "Bro, you're crazy." Anyway, the city the commissioners, if you watch the clips, they were real condescending to all the people that showed up, and they ended up having to go to a private room because they were getting, like, you know, yelled down from the crowd to sort of vote this thing in. And now the one commissioner was doing interviews talking about how he's getting death threats and boo-hooing on the thing. And I'm like, that's what I said. I was like, I don't know how, like, the balls on these people to know that America, like, mentally, we're very unhealthy and armed to the teeth. Like, the balls on these people to just do this stuff with a reckless disregard for what the people want. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, this is the kind of results that are going to, and I don't want that to happen either. I don't want a violent insurrection thing, but, like, I mean, when push comes to shove and it's like, oh, so you're going to, like, destroy the environment that I've lived in for the last 20 years? Like, I don't, for what?
Luigi Mangiamoni, it reminds me of that guy's name. I don't know. I know I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. That's what's going to end up happening to some of these CEOs, billionaires.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not a violent person. I'm not calling for violence in any way at all. But these people are way too comfortable. They're way too comfortable going against the will of the people. And there is way more than us than there are them. And people need to wake up to that. And they need to understand that, you know, if you really care about your kids and future generations, and you care about the environment, you care about animals, you care about anything at all, the days of sitting on the sideline are done. I don't know what's going to happen in these huge cities. They're just going to become 1984 fucking hellscapes. But in the smaller cities, you got to really wake up, man. And you got to, the biggest thing we have to do in our election process, and based on the Thomas Massie thing, all elections are bullshit. They're all bullshit. And like, yeah. And it's just like, until we can regulate this shit and not let a foreign government come in and dictate who your local representative is, you know, you're going to have to fucking get ready to get crazy, because it's like, yeah, you don't want to cause chaos, but do you want your future generations to live in hell? Like,
they're building this surveillance state infrastructure, and that's always been the plan, going back all the way to Plato. And when we, you know, I did a show with you guys, I think last year, about the Dark Enlightenment, all that stuff applies heavily. And you know, even if you're in a small town, there's these thing called flock cameras. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this.
Yeah.
And it's like these surveillance, they're building a surveillance state all around us. And that is the plan. And ultimately what we're talking about is a spiritual plan in this new world order, where if you guys ever seen or read Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood's End, about how, so this is fascinating, right? Plot spoilers coming, but these aliens come and they give, it's kind of like you were talking about, Sam, like they give us everything we wanted. There's like no more diseases, no more wars, everyone gets along fine, and everyone was like real chill about it for I don't remember how many years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. And the big reveal is that the aliens look like the devil. And turns out what they do in the storyline, again, massive plot spoiler, because it's a really interesting story. I didn't read the book. I watched the there's like
what's
a 3-part.
It called again?
It's called Childhood's End. They did a 3-part series back around 2017. You can get on Amazon or whatever. Go fund your Jeff Bezos oligarch with some Amazon Prime money. That's what I do. And what they do is they depict exactly what the occult plan is. They breed a sort of new evolved human that can mentally connect to this, what they call the overmind, or it's, if you read like a lot of this occult literature, they call it like the cosmic consciousness or the monad. It's this idea that we all can connect through our mind into this one consciousness. And that's what they want to do, is get rid of humanity, get rid of these like material flesh suits, and they want us to all be this digital consciousness in the monad. And that's kind of where they take us, and they evolve us into that. And this was all the plan. And that's why Stanley Kubrick put this in 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? The monolith comes and it evolves the ape, and then it evolves man into the Star Child. And that's what the plan is to, like, when Elon Musk talks about us going out into space and stuff, we all clearly see that the idea of putting humans on other planets, we're really far away from doing that. But before that ever would become a reality, that's not the plan. The plan is to upload our consciousness into like kind of like Battlestar Galactica. If you ever watched that show, it was kind of like these consciousnesses were floating around in this big ship, right? And that's kind of the best they can do, and that's what they want to do. And this raises a whole host of questions, right? But the Cabalistic digital matrix is the plan, and that's why when Trump was running last time, he was like, if you vote me in, you're not going to worry about elections anymore. That's why Elon Musk is like, oh, you don't need to worry about retirements anymore. That's why they're building data centers against the will of absolutely everybody. Not one of us has ever been like, you know what would be really cool? AI, right? Like, I love AI, and because they put AI on my Microsoft Word, and I'm like, I used it one time. I said, oh, okay, because I wanted to make a page with two columns, and I was like, I forgot how to do that. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll use this AI. I use the AI. I'm like, hey, how do I take this page right here, make it 2 columns? And we fought back and forth with him trying to understand what I was talking about. And I finally was like, oh, forget it. So I Googled it, figured it out in about 2 seconds and did it, right? Yeah. Like, who wants this? This crap doesn't work, right? Like when you open up
you're totally fucking right. And they're finding out that AIs actually cost them more money than human labor. And it's going to be more expensive in the long run. And this is the exact same sell they did with DEI. They told everybody, go DEI. It's, diversify. It's good for your stuff. BlackRock will like you. And it just costs businesses everything. I mean, the people who hired Colin Kaepernick took a bath. When Subway had that Rapone chick, I mean, the local Subways were losing their fucking mind. They're like, it's killing our business, dude. So they sell you on this grand idea, and it never works out the way they wanted to, because they want you to do the stupid shit.
Well, maybe not the way it might work out exactly the way they want it to, not the way they're telling us it's going to work, though. That's for sure.
Well played, buddy. Well played. I totally agree on that.
Don't you think this is far beyond DEI, though, right? This is irresistible. I mean, this touches everything.
But the reason I said that is because it was sold that it would be this amazing thing.
It's a lie. I got you.
And it's just a giant lie, and it just destroyed everything. Hey, guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Lucy. That's right, Lucy Nicotine. Premium 100% tobacco-free nicotine pouches made for true pouch connoisseurs. Lucy pouches and Lucy breakers. And don't forget the gums. Don't you dare forget the gums, okay? Lucy breakers deliver long-lasting flavor for a seriously satisfying pouch. All right, I love it. I do Lucy pouches, gum. I love their breakers. It's just a literal party. I love it. I can't stop. I love nicotine, and I love Lucy. It is my go-to brand for nicotine. Listen, Lucy pouches go up to 12 milligram strength and have a unique shape that feels great. Lucy breakers are nicotine pouches with
breakers.
Yeah, look at that, there. Dude. Look at that breaker, dude. Johnny loves those breakers, dude. Lucy breakers are nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a hydrating capsule that you crack with your teeth for instant bursts of long-lasting flavor. Every other pouch is the same. Lucy breakers are the only ones doing it differently to give you long-lasting flavors in pouches, okay? Thank you, Lucy. You are fire, dude. So listen, Lucy is the only pouch that delivers long-lasting, on-demand flavor, okay? Get 20% off your first order when you buy online at lucy.co/tinfoilhat with the promo code tinfoilhat. And if you don't want to wait, check out their store locator to find Lucy near you and grab it today. Now, here's it. I got to do the fine print. Lucy products are for adults of a legal age and every customer is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, and I love it. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Guys, listen, we love our pets and we love our dogs, and we'll do anything to make sure our dogs are healthy and happy, okay? Now, there's nothing worse than when your dog starts scratching and rubbing, and that's where our good friends at Better Wild come in. Let me tell you about Better Wild and what they're doing for dog allergies. Listen, I've been focusing a lot on my health lately, but then it hit me that I should probably be putting that same energy into my dog's health too, okay? You'll start to notice weird behaviors. Like my dog is like itching and scratching and rubbing sometimes. Roger's slowing down and not wanting to play as much. And I go, listen, these are not normal dog behaviors. They really are actually signs of allergies, okay? What I've learned is that allergies in dogs often start in the gut when things get out of balance internally. It can show up everywhere and anywhere in issues with their skin, ears, digestion, and energy. Just like us, dogs need good bacteria to strengthen their gut health and calm an overactive immune system. That's what led me to Better Wild Allergy Relief Soft Chews. They designed to support your pet's allergy defenses by strengthening digestion and helping restore balance from the inside. They are in the first and here we go.
3, 2.
They're the first and only chews with ancestral advantage wolf probiotics and natural ingredients proven to help reduce itching and support gut immune and skin health. Okay, so instead of just covering things up, you're actually supporting your dog at the source. And we all love our dogs. And we want them to be as healthy as they can be. And this is a great way. You know, dogs would eat anything. Hand them a beautiful, Better Wild chewable chew. And dude, watch this dog get better. Watch its immune system and its gut get better, because that's what Better Wild does, okay? Better Wild is committed to helping your dogs with clinically proven, veterinarian-approved solutions that you can feel great about, okay? Right now, Better Wild is offering our listeners up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/tinfoil. That's betterwild.com/tinfoil for up to 40% off your order. betterwild.com/tinfoil. And we thank them for sponsoring this show.
And I wonder what's going to happen, because I actually talked to a guy who was telling me how much he uses AI, and I thought, and it gave me pause. I thought, maybe I'm just too stupid. Maybe I don't know how to run AI, because I don't really use it, because I started for a while when ChatGPT was popular about a year ago. I was using it for quite a bit, and I found that it just kept lying to me about stuff that I would fact check all the time. And I'm like, why would I waste my time with any of this? And I just don't know. I mean, obviously there's value in it creating, like for podcast artwork. Now I don't have to like worry about getting a copyright violation, and you can make video clips. Like clearly those are powerful tools, but other than that, like the idea of replacing human labor, like that's insane. Like when I open the Amazon app, it tells me, it's like, hey, guess what? There's AI embedded. Now you can shop using AI. I'm like, bitch, I don't want to use AI to shop. Let me look around or whatever, right?
And we were also like talking, and it's not cheap. Like the Super Grok, I think it's like $300 a month. The most premium Grok one.
Oh,
I don't know what it does for $300 a month, but it's insane to pay. And everything has AI. There's like so many programs for. Which one do you use, Sam, for your thumbnails?
I use Pixel, but my thumbnails are fire. No, but we were just talking before the show that anytime you log into Zoom, it now says it will do the minutes of your meeting. It will get all the whole discussion. And if you hit stop, you think, okay, it stopped. I guarantee you they're still listening and recording everything you're fucking saying.
Mm. Yeah, and some of that stuff sounds tempting. I don't know. I'm not here to say AI is completely useless, but I do think that these nerds and billionaires want us to fuel up AI so that they can be in complete control, create a surveillance state, and make us dumber. And I've been sort of campaigning this recently a lot, how they were they've been shitting on college education for a long time. And you know, I get it. I get that like college isn't for everybody. You don't need college to make money. I'm not saying every single person should go to college, but I am saying for me, I was not the most intelligent guy on the planet when I went to college, and it taught me how to learn. It taught me how to research, and it was very valuable for me in my sort of journey of life. So for a variety of reasons, I think college is overall a good thing. Now, we could talk about how much debt is it worth the debt? Probably not. I mean, the debt's outrageous on a college loan. But I'm very much pro college in general, and I think that there's been this drive to demonize it because what they want is for us to be stupid. And you can see there's all these studies that talk about how the younger kids that grow up with cell phones and social media and now AI, they are coming out not as educated. It's like the first time ever in history that people are getting dumber.
Yeah, they've
basically
gone backwards.
Yeah, and I think that's what they want. They want us to be so dumb that they can offer
participate in our government. We can't do anything
manipulated.
To stop. Yep, 100%, dude.
And it's twofold, because they also want you to subscribe to AI to be able to think, right? They want you to consult with AI for everything because you're too dumb to figure it out on your own. And I think it's kind of like the Neuralink idea, right? I think Neuralink, where Elon Musk is going to put a chip in your brain. I think for some people that have handicaps, like that's a great thing. I love that for them. It's going to give them capabilities that they couldn't have otherwise. But the problem is it's like capitalism at its finest, right? It's got to be expanded into everybody. Everybody needs the chip in the brain, right? That's what they want to do. And it's going to be no different with AI tools. They want every single person to rely on it for every single decision that they make, because ultimately the puppet masters behind the scenes are these billionaire nerd tech elites who have an occult agenda to get rid of humanity, evolve us into the Gnostic monad or whatever, right? And we can kind of unpack all this stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's going to be
that.
enough time, but I think the UFO disclosure is a component of this manipulation, because I try to look at things from a holistic perspective, because I was my degree's in systems engineering, and that's very much analyzing systems and abstracting out and trying to look at the big picture of things at times. So I try to use that. And if you look at the history of humanity and aliens and so on, right, throughout all of human history, there was this contact with entities, whether you call them angels, whether you call them demons, aliens, whatever, right? And in the 1940s is when things kind of reach a fever pitch. We had the Trinity test in 1945, and it supposedly tore a veil in the atmosphere that supposedly aliens could come through. Jack Parsons is doing Babylon working rituals, and Crowley's like, hey, this guy's opening up portals, and things are going to come through. And you had two major UFO crashes, one in 45 just days after the Trinity test in the same location where they did the Trinity test. Then you had the Roswell crash of 47. The government starts getting interested. They start Project Sign, Project Grudge, Project Blue Book, and they tell publicly, they say, hey, all this stuff is fake news. There's no such thing. It's all swamp gas. Meanwhile, they've got a unit called the Collins Elite that's researching all this stuff from a spiritual perspective. And these are, as the story goes, just a bunch of Christians. And they say, hey, all these entities, what it is, it's like demons. And these people are doing demonic rituals to make contact with them. And that sounds crazy to most normal people, but when you research the occult, you're like, oh, of course that's what it is. That's exactly what Parsons said it was. It's exactly what Crowley said it was. It's exactly what how the Temple of Solomon was built the first time, with Solomon and him using the Lesser Grimoire to channel demons to build the temple. And I get it, because like these are weird concepts, because like I'll talk to my wife
Not
about
on
this
this
stuff.
show, dude. Not on this show.
Because you think about it from this materialistic perspective, and you're like, how in hell are you going to first off conjure up a demon? Second off, it's going to build you some stuff. What is it, a bricklayer? Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand it either. I'm just saying that this is what the text and history tells us, right? So
that's what they started to cut you off. That's what they think CERN is. That they're trying to tap into the lake of fire.
The lake of fire. What is that?
That's where supposedly all the demons and the fallen are all. That's where they all are. Is in the lake of fire. They were.
Oh,
I
interesting.
forget. Yeah, and that they're trying to release them.
Yeah, and CERN was, of course, where they put that statue of the dancing Shiva outside.
Yes, and that's where like all of the globalists headquarters are there. You know, it's like the WEF, the sorry about that, the WEF, the council, the Rome, what's it, the something of Rome.
Davos. I think Davos is
Davos is
Club of
there,
Rome.
the Club of Rome, like the Bank of International Settlements, like everything's there.
Yeah, and this supports kind of like my theory that all of these people are occultists. Like secretly they're occultists. Publicly they're atheists, scientists, humanists, whatever you want to call it.
Satanist.
Yeah, even Satanists, but privately they're all occultists. In fact, I had done Richard Seart's Strange Planet. We did a show about CERN, and I purchased and watched this documentary that CERN put out around 2018. I forget the name of it, but if you watch it, it's this sort of opera thing, and so it's obviously very like, you know, artistic and surreal a little bit. But what you find when you watch it is these opposing forces coming together of a black and white. They show the guy and the girl, and like he's a white dude dressed in all white, she's a black woman dressed in all black, and they come together in this dance, right? And I think if you just watched it, you would be like, oh, okay, they're just doing some weird woo-woo stuff. No, like this is an occult concept about the opposing polarities coming together, right? And that's what the Shiva, the dancing statue outside, the Shiva, well, it's dancing because it's supposed to dance with Shakti, right? These are the opposing forces that the Hindus think is our world, keeping our world together is these two opposing forces locked in union, aka sex magic, which I believe we did a show on sex magic many years ago here on Tinfoil. But that's the point of all of this is to do an alchemical operation, and I know, like, for people who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, like, this is probably like crazy talk, but
not at all, dude. Not at all.
It's all alchemy, right? That's what they're trying to do with humanity. They are trying to, you know, in alchemy, you take something and you boil it down to its prima materia, and then you rebuild it in a perfected image of what they think is perfect, not what God created. Okay, so what they're trying to do is bake down and burn down and melt all of humanity down to the prima materia, literally, which is going to be our consciousness. And that's what the digital consciousness is. It's they get rid of the human form, take us all the way down, and then they will rebuild us. And it's like this whole process called the Negredo. But you find it in a lot of the symbolism that you see these weirdos putting out. But anyway, my thoughts on the UFO disclosure is, so since the 40s, they basically tell us, hey, none of this is real, it's fake news, whatever, right? Then you get fast forward, all of a sudden, 80 years later, we get confirmation about these UFO videos, during the pandemic, or the height of the pandemic. They're like, okay, yeah, these videos are real. And I thought that was kind of weird, right? And then you see what's going on with, they released the Epstein files, some of the Epstein files, which this is a whole nother show worth of topics, the Epstein files, right? You could talk about how the elites are really sacrificing babies to alien gods, which is what I think is the real truth about what's happening with those Epstein files. If you look at Zorro Ranch, there's a whole deep rabbit hole about what's really going on there. We can come back to that if you want.
We can go anywhere you want, buddy.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
down. We're in.
Okay. All right. We'll hit that right next. Let me finish my thought on the so anyway, so for so many decades, they're like nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Now all of a sudden that they're really close to getting AI to the point of being like you can't tell the difference between reality and fake videos now. Now all of a sudden, out of seemingly nowhere, they're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna share the truth with you guys. And I'm with who was I watching? I think it was James Lee. I don't remember, man. I consume so much content. Someone was saying about how the things they're releasing is for sure only going to be what they want us to see, right? There's no
for sure.
I have no thought in my head that like, oh, the government's here to protect us and show us the truth. Like, I don't believe that at all. They're here to lead us down the path, and they can't come out and just say like, hey, there's this thing and we don't know what it is. We've been researching for decades. We're stumped. Like they're never going to say that. They're going to say that these things are demons. And you know what we need to do? We need to give all of our resources and freedoms up to this new world order government. And this is all the stuff that, Bill Cooper was saying this 50 years ago or whatever it was. Father Seraphim Rose, he wrote a book about this in the 70s, and that's the plan. And I don't know if aliens are demons or angels. I suspect it could be either one, but it doesn't matter. Like it's like don't waste what was the saying? They say like with any kind of crisis, don't waste a good opportunity to pursue your agenda. And I think that's what the truth is that they know there's a spiritual component to that. They're going to try to reveal that to us. That's why you see Representative Anna Luna talking about, oh, you better read the Book of Enoch. And I don't think they're wrong. I'm not saying these people are lying about it. I think there is a spiritual component to this. I don't think these are Martians from another planet literally flying in a spaceship here. I don't believe that at all. I think there's some kind of quantum interdimensional aspect to these things. And I think they're going to use that to scare us into giving everything up.
Submission. Yeah. Safety over freedom.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because like I often criticize how much money, and look, I was in the military. I love the military. I support it, whatever, right? But I criticize how much we spend on our military industrial complex. Literally, one of the presidents warned us about this when he was leaving office.
Yeah,
he was
Eisenhower,
like, hey,
right?
Yeah, I think it was him or FDR. I don't know. Eisenhower. I think it's Eisenhower. They literally warned us about this. And I think it's a big problem. I think when you look at the budget and you stack it up against all the other countries, how much they spend, you're like, whoa, can we just like throttle this back just a touch?
Yeah, it's good so Lord. Crazy. And then just to see how it's presented, like Iran is a big problem. It's so interesting.
And that's where I'm going with this, Sam, because we have these F-35s, right? I don't know what we spent on them, 100 billion, 200 billion, some obscene amount of money for these F-35s. And they're like, well, we need them. We absolutely need them. And then Iran, which their military budget is like not even a sliver on the pie chart of like all the countries' different military budgets. They're able to take one out. And I'm like, didn't we pay gobs of money to make sure that kind of thing didn't happen? What the hell?
It's so crazy to me, dude. And it's like, okay, the military, it's like when I was young, we'd hear, dude, they just spent $3,000 on a hammer. And even as a kid, I was like, they didn't spend $3,000 on a hammer. They bought a hammer for $50 and spent $2,950 on some black ops shit. So it's like when you really start to study how our military spends, it's not on military personnel or equipment. It's literally these military contracts. They spend them on these military contracts, and they just keep the money or, dole it out to black ops so they can just completely astroturf the satanic agenda across the world. And then you're like, then why are we struggling against Iran? Oh, yeah, because you're not spending it on jack shit.
Yeah, dude. I think that's totally facts, right? When I was active duty, we certainly didn't live any kind of lavish lifestyle at all. And the military contractors, like those people get paid buku bucks. And I don't know. The whole thing is really frustrating because you're like, okay, so we're getting, and that's like, I'll throw like I'm not a Trump fan, but one thing I do like is his attitude about us protecting other countries, right? I I'm okay. Like, look, I'm too stupid to have an idea of international geopolitics relations. I'm sure there's some reason we pay so much money to have bases all over these countries as this new empire, and we protect these other countries. I don't know what we get out of it. This is just me talking like some idiot who pays my taxes. But I think, boy, it sure would be nice to have more health care or cheaper gas or cheaper home or whatever. And meanwhile, all these other countries, they've got all those things. They've got nice public transit and socialized medicine.
You ever been to Toronto?
No.
Go to Toronto, dude. You'll see what's possible when you don't spend 50 cents of every dollar on the military. Everyone's pretty. Everyone's good looking.
Well, isn't the logic that they can spend that because the U.S. is the one protecting them? Like he said, we're the one protecting them, so they can not spend money on military airplanes.
Yes.
Right, but that doesn't really change the fact that they don't spend all this money on the military. And like, I'm sorry, but this notion that we have to constantly be on guard against everybody. It's like maybe if we weren't provoking and destabilizing everywhere in order to encourage military operations, right? It's like we send people in, they destabilize, we pay for all these like proxy armies to bring chaos to the world, and then we pay for these proxy armies to go nuts, and then we're like, oh, we got to take out this proxy army, and then we go in again a second time, and it's just kind of chaos. And Canada, go to Toronto, dude. I mean, you go to any restaurant, and every woman there is the most beautiful human being you've ever seen in your life.
That's
It's
interesting.
fucking nuts.
Now that's exactly kind of my sort of hot take on it is exactly that, because Trump was talking about those kinds of things. I don't know that we've actually taken any actual steps to sort of fixing that. And anyway, to bring it back to sort of the alien occult stuff, we're talking about Zorro Ranch.
I'm sorry. Hold that. So one thing I will say about Trump, and I'm not a Trump fan. I didn't vote for him. I don't trust any politician. I was calling out Massie way before anybody else was. And no one really is, except for if you're just an idiot mega dude. And I like the country. It's just like you can't get emotionally captured by these politicians. But one thing Trump has done is like rip back the illusion that, that Israel isn't controlling us, that the media isn't full of shit, that Hollywood doesn't hate us, all this shit that everyone sensed but no one knew. And now it's so blatant. Like all these protests are astroturfed by billionaires. Our food is poison. The vaccine was garbage. Like all these things are pretty much agreed upon right now, at least by our community and to a point by everybody else. All these paid protesters, BLM being, controlled op, no kings being controlled op. Both parties are scumbags and they're not doing anything for the American people. We are more in tuned with what's going on than we ever have before. And it's in that aspect, Trump has been very great for that. Now, are we all just like, this guy's just turned heel? I don't think he turned heel. I think this was always the plan. But, I think we're more aware than ever. And if you aren't aware of that, your algorithm is lying to you.
I don't disagree with you on some of that. I do think Trump maybe was chosen to have the role of waking people up to that. And they like, maybe he was a guy that they thought, hey man, can you just be like as awful as you possibly can to wake these people up to the truth? And he was like, yeah, I can totally do that. Like maybe that's what his role. Cause I'm with you. I agree. Like I've been fully blackpilled, man. Like I'm like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I believed some things. And now I'm like, oh, every politician is completely morally bankrupt. That's insane. I had no idea every single one of them was gone.
When Massie came back happy after his wife was sadly taken from him, glowed up like a fucking Supercuts fucking glamour shots glow up. He's got a tan. His hair's different. He's running around with chicks. He's got a new wife. I'm sorry. It's just, I know we do this a lot with people in grieving. Like, I cry at commercials, and sometimes I don't know why I'm not crying at a funeral. I'm just going to tell you that. Sometimes at a funeral, like, I should be crying right now. I should really be crying. And then I'll see a commercial where dad's trying his hardest to take care of his kids, and I'm just fucking bawling the whole time. It's
alone, because you're alone.
Yeah. So, I just don't trust any of these motherfuckers. So I'm done cutting you off. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. This is great, man. That's why I like coming on here, because you guys, you can contribute to, because I actually, a lot of my thinking gets challenged when we have these discussions, because there's some things I agree with what you're saying, some things I don't, and that's nice. I think that's the way we got to move forward, is to have, the conspiracy sort of community is kind of in the same camp, but we don't all agree on the details. And I think it's great that we can, sort of expose different angles to that, right?
Guys, we're living an amazing time. Okay. CBD is the greatest thing of all time. And guess what? Our good friends at Batch, they got something even better. Micro mints. So let me tell you about Batch's micro mints. Let me tell you about them.
Micro mints take advantage of sublingual delivery. That means under the tongue. It absorbs there faster than a capsule or even a gummy, and you feel it. CBD plus CBG combination. Wow, that's what's in these micro mints. It targets both calm and mood, not just one or the other. And to be clear, it's not a crisis intervention. The goal is just to get to baseline, to chill out. There's no grogginess, no dependency, no pharmaceutical side effects, and they have at Batch, and this is something they take pride in, fully transparent lab testing that you can verify. They also have CBD night gummies. They're formulated specifically for sleep quality, not just falling asleep. So you're not drowsy. You're going to have a high quality sleep when you actually do get to sleep. Waking up rested changes everything downstream of it. Mood, patience, cognitive clarity. And they have an incredibly clean formulation for those of us who love to read ingredient labels. And if you're asking yourself, why should I trust Batch? Well, check this out. They're founded by engineers, not marketers, not random Instagram people. And they offer a full certificate of analysis for every batch, meaning you can look up every ingredient and confirm that it's there doing what it's supposed to do.
So right now, Batch is offering 30% off site-wide. And yes, that applies to subscriptions too. So you can lock in that discount on your monthly supply. So go to hellobatch.com/tinfoilhat and use the code tinfoilhat at checkout. And we thank them for sponsoring this show. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Mars Men. Listen, dude, if you're older than 35 and you're a guy, you know this, your testosterone just pummels, dude, goes way down. And that's why our friends at Mars Men are doing something about it. Listen, around 35 years old, I started to notice a real change. Same workout, same diet, but suddenly everything felt harder. My energy was lower, recovery took longer, and I felt like I was moving through mud. That's when I learned most men are starting to lose testosterone around age 30. Plus, there's a protein called SHBG that can lock up your testosterone so your body can't even use it. Let my testosterone free. Let my testosterone go, okay? That's why I love Mars Men. It's made with natural ingredients like tungcat, ali, shilajit, zinc, boron, and vitamin D to help support healthy testosterone, energy, focus, and stamina, okay? With Mars Men, you'll notice steadier energy throughout the day, better recovery after workouts, and you just felt more like yourself. Trust me on this. Right now, listeners get 50% off for life plus free shipping and 1, 2, 3 free gifts. All at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com. And when you order, please let them know this show sent you. And we thank them for sponsoring the show.
Now, when it comes to, we were talking about Zorro Ranch for a second, right?
Here we go.
I think that so back in 2020, I wrote my first alien book, Aliens, UFOs, and the Occult, Use Your Illusion 1. And in it, I have a whole chapter about adrenochrome for the alien gods, which sounded absolutely bonkers, crazy batshit back then. But today, I think that maybe we're finding some possible truth to that. And the whole basis of what I was talking about was that I believe fully that these elites, these occultist elites, I call them, I'm trying to change, I reference them as the predator elite class because
I'm
elites
cool
makes
with
them
that.
sound good. Okay. So the predator elites, I fully believe that they do blood sacrifices to their gods. And when I say gods, I think they're aliens, right? I think, again, you can put these all in the same camp: aliens, demons, gods, whatever, right? And I think they fully sacrifice kids to them. You can't not convince me of that. And I think the Epstein files is like, that's the part that they can't tell us, because clearly there's something they don't want us to see. And it's not just them messing with little kids doing SA stuff. I think it's a much darker realm. And to find the truth about that, I think you got to go to Zorro Ranch. And there's a great Substack, The Pugilist. I believe her name is Alyssa Valdez. Anyway, it's called The Pugilist. She's been going hard in the paint on Epstein and Zorro Ranch. And this is where I learned all of this. So by all means, please give your credit where credit's due to her. But what's crazy is that the story of Zorro Ranch, right? They were investigating this back in 2019, the New Mexico Attorney General. And at the time, Trump was in office, and Attorney General Donald Barr, Bill Barr, excuse me, his father, Donald Barr, was the guy that gave Epstein his job at that college, right? And Donald Barr also wrote that book about sex slaves and aliens and all this crazy shit, right? Back in the day. Well, Bill Barr reaches out and tells him to shut down the investigation. Then Epstein supposedly dies in prison, which I don't believe that at all. And then the reason I don't believe that is because, and it's not like a hot take, I'm sure most people listening don't believe he's dead either, because here's a guy that had so much dirt on all of the most powerful people on the planet, and he got in trouble before in the 2000s, and he got the sweetheart deal and just got a slap on the wrist, wins a $100 million rigged lottery in Oklahoma that was bought through his manager of Zorro Ranch, and he resumed his life. There's no way in hell that I think he got arrested and was like, oh, this is it for me. No, like the dude had dead man switches probably, and had all this. He was plugged into these elites and had blackmailed everybody. There's no way in hell he was like, oh, they got me good this time. There's no way. I'll never believe it. There's just no way. And then you find out, like the New York Post has published an article a couple months ago that they confirmed that the body they took out, that all the photos were taken of, wasn't even him. It was oh, well, we had to take him out the other door because we didn't want too much
right.
Yeah.
You're right, dude.
Bro,
we were right
on.
again. We were right again.
And then what was the DOJ releases the video of first they say there's no videos, the cameras weren't working, then they're like, okay, there is video, then they release it and then 1 minute is missing, and they're like, okay, well, there was a glitch in the thing in the 1 minute, and then they found that you could see like this weird, like, orange jumpsuit in the one frame, and I just don't believe it. But anyways,
Don't forget the note. There's like this note that just came out supposedly. The other day.
yeah, the suicide note, which I don't know. I refuse to believe that he wouldn't say, if I'm Epstein and I got arrested, I'd be like, okay, well, you know what? I got dirt on absolutely everybody. This is going to give me a month or two, and my people are going to get a hold of the right people, and I'll be back out. There's no way he didn't think that. So
It's
he was
like
either murdered.
It's like believing if Maxwell killed herself. I wouldn't believe it right now. If you said, oh, she committed suicide, I'd be like, bullshit. Same shit. She's got too much dirt to commit suicide.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to see what happens with her, right? I feel like they're going to let her out. She's in the puppy dog prison right now, chilling. It's just a matter of time. They're waiting for some big other distraction or something. I don't know.
Is she even, like,
Who even
good
knows
point,
if
Johnny.
that's happened? My favorite part is like, so this woman's convicted, and then Laura Loomer's like, the Epstein list isn't real. And it's just, okay, I mean, you could try to convince us that it's not Mossad or anything, because we already know it is. But like, to sit there and go, the Epstein list isn't real when someone was convicted for it is like insanity to me. And I guess it's like, it's not even about being right or proving anything. It's just, can you scream it and have it shared everywhere? Mm-hmm. So you're not really trying to convince everybody. You're just trying to get enough stupid people to believe you. Stupid trusting people. Like, why would she lie? And and they just go with it. It's like so crazy to me that this is where we are right now.
Yeah, and they know what I was just I did so I do another podcast called Breaking Social Norms with my wife, and we discussed a recent article called "The Feed is Fake" on New York Magazine, and in it they go through.
I saw this. Yes.
Oh, it's a fascinating read. It talks about the practice of clippers, and there's a fine line. We have this sort of discussion about, like, there's a fine line between, is this smart business practice or is this manipulative, right? So the way it would work is, I do a video podcast on YouTube and I pay X amount of dollars to this company. And what they'll do is they'll go out to independent sort of subcontractors and say, okay, Isaac's got the new video. You're going to get paid X amount per however many clicks and views you get. Just clip up his video and publish it. And it'll be just personal accounts. It'll be a whole account that'll be like Isaac's greatest hits clips or whatever. And on one level, it's supposed to make it look like, oh, Isaac's popping. Look, I see him all over the internet. Look how popular this guy is.
Sam,
Andrew Tate did this.
Sam, this explains so much. This article about
it does. Did you read it, Johnny? Did you read?
Yes, I read the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you already know. Yeah. And they were saying, like, Andrew Tate did this in 2022 because I didn't know who Andrew Tate was, and all of a sudden I know everything about the guy, and he
was giving out like $50 to everybody who got somebody to sign up for his classes. Like, the class was like $500. He'd give out $50 to each person someone got to join. So yeah, and then that neon is like paying some of his clippers $100,000 a month to clip up his shit.
But it's not even that. It's not just the clips, though. It's these networks of people that are paid to show the clips. That's why, suddenly, like, let's say ATC has a clip that's everywhere. I'm not making.
Oh, you mean like the quarterling? Like, if he's gonna do a reaction video, he's been paid to react to that video.
Well, that's part of it, but no, it's just accounts, right, Isaac, that are sharing clips, and
it could be literally anybody's account. It could be anybody's account, and you'll get paid more if you can get a viral clip, right? So it's kind of smart in the sense that. And that's what I'm saying. There's a fine line between how much of this is just smart business versus manipulative. Because if I have a $10,000 a month budget and I give it to this company and say, go for it, and I can get a couple people who maybe it's their personal account, maybe it's a account dedicated to Isaac Weishaupt video clips. It doesn't matter. It's if they can get one of those clips to go viral, and it's smart because what they do is it teaches these people to be like, okay, I'm going to find the most inflammatory thing that this guy said in the 1 hour video. I'm going to find it, and then I'm going to clip it, and then I'm going to post it because that might go viral and get 1 million views. And in that article, it talked about how, I don't remember the numbers. It was like he had one client with a $10,000 budget, and they secured like 100 million views or something crazy. And the whole point is this is incredibly cheaper than a billboard. This is incredibly cheaper than a TV commercial. It's just how things are done now. And again, I'm not condemning people to do it. It made me think, like, man, maybe I should do it. But my wife, she's a purist, right? She's like no, don't do that nonsense. And
here's the thing, Isaac, and you love movies, right? Johnny and I were talking about how I went and saw Mercy, the movie with Chris Pratt in it. It's a fucking great movie. Okay. And it bombed at the internet, at the movie theaters. And I was like, the movies just cannot promote a movie anymore. The movie studios, they don't know how to do it. I'm wondering, like, why don't they get into this?
They're in the article. They talk about specifically, oh man, what movie was it? They referenced specifically a movie that was like, it was shooting to have content creators, movie review people, probably people like me. In fact, it was a movie I did a show about. Oh my God. And it doesn't really matter.
Pulling up here.
I literally did a show about this movie, and I thought, man, I could have got paid extra for talking about this movie. And it made me think, like, that's why some of my stuff maybe gets pushed into the algorithm, is because there's a network of clippers that are talking about this movie or event or person. And I just kind of get lumped in, and out it goes.
Was it that Insidious 6 movie? I know they mentioned that in there.
No, yeah, they mentioned that, but it wasn't it. It was a movie that was already out. Anyway, it doesn't really, Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, but here's my point is that what they're doing, and again, I connect everything into the occult because this is magic. This is literal magic. They're manifesting a reality that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No one's taught back in 2022, like no one was talking about Andrew Tate. They were talking about it because they were getting paid to talk about him, and he used that to his advantage, right? And it's what do we think about this kind of behavior? And I could see both sides of that. Because I think, man, if I want to grow, I wouldn't criticize the local auto body shop if they put a billboard up. I would just, yeah, that's what they do. It's a company. They're advertising, but the problem is like this gets really kind of weird when you consider politics. And I think that I know this is a hot take, and I have Trump derangement syndrome, but I think the whole Trump campaign was using techniques like this, and that's why he was on Aiden Ross and all these people were talking about is I think he had a big pot of money, probably from a couple interests, we'll just say, and they were using that to their advantage. And again, is it just smart business practice? It kind of is, but it's also, we're now talking about there's this online world that is not reality. That is a reality created by magicians who are trying to do, like you guys say, steal the loosh. They're trying to influence you. They're trying to make you mad. They're trying to make you hate people and think that, oh, there's, transgenders with kitty boxes in the schools now. Like they're trying to do all that stuff, right? Because
You're so right, dude.
And it's just frustrating because on the one hand, I'm like, it's smart business. I get it. On the other hand, I'm like, this is also destroying our entire civilization. So there's that, but it's an interesting sort of philosophical debate that came about from that article.
I think you're totally fucking right. Nothing's real. Everything's fake and gay. And if you when suddenly someone's everywhere all at once, you gotta go, how is this happening? Remember that one chick, Johnny, the white female chick who Bobby something? She was just everywhere.
Bobby Altoff, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere. And then she met Drake and met black guys, and she was just gone, dude. Like, she just went off the deep end, and she keeps trying to get back, but nobody respects her anymore because she left her entire family for rappers and athletes, dude. But that's a great example of, like, it's just everywhere. Johnny likes this. All these OnlyFans models are coming out to LA, and they want to do podcasts, and Johnny loves porn stars. And so I was thinking about trying to get him on Broken Sim because it's not really right for this show.
No.
What?
No,
Johnny,
I don't want to do that. No, please no.
I'll do those episodes with you, Sam.
Yeah. I love that Johnny's like, oh, I miss the porn days, and then he's like, I don't want anything.
I don't want to interview them.
You don't want to interview them on Broken Sim for 30 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
okay,
you think they have a lot to say, though? Like, I mean, do we expect they have a lot to say?
No, but this whole thing, it's like Broken Sim is a cultural show. They're cultural. Do you want to talk? I don't really care either way. I'll turn it down because I did the naughty show way back in the day. But I know you've always like, I missed out.
Wait, somebody invited us to talk to someone or something?
There's people who are like, they're coming out. They want to do a podcast. Would you want them on your show?
Oh, okay.
There could be some interesting stories. Like, what's the old girl that she broke her back and she kind of worked her way back into doing.
Oh yeah, what's her name, dude?
What?
No, I love that, dude. Where's that inspirational story?
Exactly.
Remember when Gloria Stefan got in a bus crash, and she's like, she worked her way back. She didn't give up. She also had 5 trainers working her every day. That'd be the funniest thing. She hurt herself in a ball pit.
Yeah, Adriana Chekic.
Adriana Chekic.
That'd be the funniest inspirational story. Then she was down and out. She's the only one who believed in herself. And then it's like next thing you know, you see her on the cover of a dog fart video. She's like, she's back.
Yeah, she broke her back, and now he's breaking it again.
Yeah,
dog fart.
So real quick,
dog fart. Is that even a thing anymore? Dog fart? Anyway.
They're all things, dude. Shut up, Johnny. So real quick. So let's get into there's so much we haven't even got into. I gotta shut up and let you talk, dude. The billionaire bunkers. What are your thoughts? Because this is very interesting to me because, you know, you had all these scientists go missing and you had that one chick who had very much tweaker energy. And she's like giving so many interviews and she's like, I got hit by a direct energy weapon, show her face and her skin looks like it's burnt, right? But she had tweaker energy, but she's like, yeah, basically there's these two aliens, PTI or PT1, PT2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about the future people?
Yeah,
Amy
the future
Eskridge, yeah.
people.
Oh yeah. It's what was it? P plus 42,000
47. Yeah.
47,
Yeah.
It's
52, something.
P47 and P52.
Yeah.
There was like two timelines that were coming back from the future.
And what's super interesting to me is that you got these, because they're basically like it's either the Chinese or the tech guys win. We don't know which ones. That's what she says. The Chinese or the tech guys win. And it's funny to me because this is who's getting bunkers right now. And it's like, it's basically autistic people from the future come back and tell us about what happened. And you kind of look at it, it's like, it makes sense that they're the only people who might survive this crazy shit are these billionaires in these bunkers who are all autistic. Yeah. And like, what if the future is just autistic nerd dorks?
You know, that's funny. I got two things to say about that. One, Ray Dalio. So like, you know, I'm a member of where the bangers bang at the Cash Daddies Patreon, which I try to recommend this to everybody. I don't think people know the how great Cash Daddies is because I didn't know this until I signed up for the Patreon that you could ask questions afterward and like Howie and you guys would like talk about these things. But one of the things I had read I'd watched the Ray Dalio thought about the New World Order coming, and he says that the Chinese were handing the baton off to the Chinese, and he's a pretty smart dude. But so the Chinese could be the ones that win in this future timeline, I guess.
Well, they're handing it off to the Chinese because their population's totally controlled and locked down. There is no freedom over there. There is no. I'm not. But the one thing I will say about China, and everyone's going to lose my mind, is that yes, there is the social credit score shit that's horrible and awful, but like 92% of their population owns homes.
Oh,
like
wow.
They all own houses, you know, and it's just like, I'm not saying it's a better system, but it is like, it goes back to my thing. Like if they just gave us nice shit, we would be cool to whatever the fuck they're doing, dude. It's like, just give us real beef, just give us cool drugs, just give us fun entertainment. And let us own a house, and we don't give a shit what the fuck you do. It's like the 80s. Oh, you're just bombing everybody? Hey, it's like Tim Dillon said. We don't give a shit. Nobody cared that we were just like, we're going to enjoy our lives. Now you won't even give us that shit.
That's a good point. I do agree with that. I think most people are only worried about their small sphere of like family and maybe the town, and that's about it, really. And I think they could get away with a lot more if they would give us more. But the bunkers, right? They've been predictive programming, the idea that they show us what's going to happen in television and movie and so on, right? We've been seeing that in television shows like Fallout and Paradise. There's a show called Silo. I haven't seen that one. I've seen Fallout and Paradise, though, both great shows. But they show us this future world where we all live in the bunkers. We live underground, and there's a variety of reasons why, right? Like in Fallout, it happens because the corporations decide to like nuke everybody and try to start all over and to have complete control over the world. And then in Paradise, it's they lie to us about an asteroid or something like that. I think it's an asteroid. Anyway, point is that they show us this world where you can live underground and things are actually pretty nice, right? And it's funny because Douglas Rushkoff, who is a guy I want to kind of like research more of his stuff. I have one of his books called Media Virus, where he, back in the 90s, he was talking about all these things that make total sense 30 years later as I'm reading the book. But he also wrote a book in 22 called Survival of the Richest. And what was happening was he was brought into the fold on giving a lecture at this like private dinner event. And to his surprise, he shows up and it's just a handful of billionaires and they're kind of grilling him on what's going to happen in the future. And what happens is he writes this book and talks about how the elites are worried that there's going to be an event, right? They just call it the event. And it could be anything from an asteroid to AI, general intelligence killing us all, to climate collapse, anything, right? Some major event that requires them to live underground to protect and insulate themselves from societal collapse as a result of their own doing. Like, they actively know that they are pushing us into this thing that collapses the society, right?
It's so crazy, dude.
And I think there's always this discussion, like, should billionaires exist? And I'm in the for a while I was kind of, I don't know, maybe, like, philosophically whatever, but now I'm like, no, they shouldn't. Like, these are not ethical people. These are psychopaths, and they're trying to collapse society. They're trying to accelerate it, right? Like how who you say Alex Stein said you're an accelerationist, Sam.
Yeah,
that's part of the Dark Enlightenment is the accelerationist philosophy, and Peter Thiel is subscribes to that. And there was a guy, he was one of the founders of OpenAI. I'm gonna butcher his name. Ela Sutskever. He's one of the world's foremost AI researchers, co-founded AI. He said, and I quote, "We're definitely going to build a bunker before we release AGI," right? And AGI is like the artificial general intelligence. That's when AI becomes God, basically. So that's concerning. Like, why did he say that? He was one of the people that ousted Sam Altman because he said Sam Altman was so shady, and Sam Altman was able to sort of weasel his way back in, and that's when this Suitskever guy left the company and started a different AI company that's supposed to be ethical. I don't know about that, but the point is, like, the reason these guys, you see all this news about them building bunkers, is because they know what's happening in the future, because they're doing it, they're orchestrating it. And I think Trump is part of this too. I think Trump knows, and that's why he's trying to build this bunker underneath the ballroom. And it's funny because just like you were talking about earlier, you're talking about how nobody seems to care anymore. And it was literally just a few weeks ago that a shooter went into the White House Correspondents' Dinner and tried to assassinate the president. And like, the immediate reaction was nobody believed it, and like nobody even cares, and we just moved on already. And I question if that was a real event either.
I don't believe it. I don't believe any of the Trump assassinations were real, because
I don't either.
Charlie Kirk, JFK, 9/11. When they want something done, it gets done. They don't get out of there.
That's a good point.
To the point, and I'm going to lose everybody here, but to the point, I even question Ronald Reagan's assassination. Like, was that real? Did they really take him out, or was that just another way to get people behind? I had a discussion on it last night. Everyone's like, well, it's like, because Bush wanted to be behind, Bush wanted to be president. I'm like, yeah, but it's also got everyone behind. It's like, if you listen to Control Alt Delete, Control Alt History, he was talking about how, like, they had videos of Ronald Reagan getting pegged. They had him. They owned him. They got him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like they got him dead to rights, and then he pushed.
Was that even a thing back then?
Pegging?
Yeah.
It's Johnny. There's always been pegging, dude.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of time. People have been pegging since the break of dawn, dude. The minute someone realized they had a hole, they tried to shove something in.
Do you think it's possible that was a warning, to Reagan? Because
100%, dude. All of a sudden, you got this guy this guy to be president, this actor. Really, dude? Like, Ronald Reagan's the guy you want? Well, yeah, you owned him, dude. So why not? Why not but it's like, I really question whether that one. I'm not saying that Bradley wasn't hit, but I'm also like, did they? I
mean, you don't think Reagan was hit, though, is what you're saying?
Well, I don't think that. I think that if they really wanted Reagan out, I think Reagan would be taken out.
But it could be just, like I was just saying, like a warning to him, like, hey, next time we don't miss, like, because he was. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's possible. We don't.
I memean, anything's possible.
I mean, I just, the reason I question it is because, well, what are you suggesting there because I mean, it's pretty well documented that he was wounded. I mean, there's so many people at the hospital saw him.
I mean, Trump Listen, I'm not saying that this is 100% correct. I'm just saying I get a feeling that studying this shit, that when they want somebody out, he's out.
Right, but what I'm asking is, with Reagan, that shooting, what did they want? Do you get what I'm saying? Was it?
They want people to rally around Reagan even more.
Okay. So you think he's in on it? Is the implication?
100%. I mean, like, that's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, and I'm not saying I'm not saying that this is 100% factual. I'm just
It's
telling
certainly
you
possible.
Yeah, that's it. Like, we've seen that, like, they've tried to get Trump 3 times. I mean,
what are the odds of surviving 3 of them, right?
I mean, dude, these guys they have multiple levels waiting for this guy. So if one fails, the next one's right there. And then they got one after that too. Like 9/11, JFK, there were fucking multiple levels of people there to ensure that those motherfuckers didn't get out, dude. I mean, like, dude, 9/11, they had what I believe was drones that look like planes. They had bombs inside there. They had a direct energy weapon. I mean, that to me is just like, those 2 buildings aren't getting out of there. And same thing with JFK. If you talk to anybody that really studied the JFK assassination, dude, most of the people in that plaza were all assassins. It's like, I say it all the time, but it's like when John Wick in the movie, they put the hit out on him, the phone rings, and everyone in the plaza pulls out their phone. Yeah. It's all assassins.
I mean, the only thing that stands with the Pennsylvania shooting is that a fireman actually died. But they don't give a fuck about lives. They don't care.
They don't care, dude. They don't care. They'll take out people. More people that get out, the more real it seems. It's
so implausible too that they just let. They had real security, and this guy just appears on the roof, and everybody's just like, "Hey, there's a guy over there with a gun. Should we maybe shoot him?"
And then you have the fat chicks, like some fucking Melissa McCarthy fucking
the Keystone cunts
movie protecting him. It's like, come on, dude. None of it's real, dude. And then you because I saw you had some stuff about Kabbalah. It's like you get into the Kabbalah ritual of submission where you cut the left ear. He goes down, click, click, dude, bang. Now he's fucking. And I'm sorry, dude, but I think they've been using AI for a long time. I just watched this, and you would love this video too. It's by Right Conscious. Have you heard of this guy on YouTube?
No.
He's huge in the books, dude. And he does this whole thing about how all these writers that were associated with the CIA. And some of them are loose connections. But he had this one guy, let me see his name, that I found very interesting. Hold on one second.
Yeah, because they always point back to the CIA sort of being the orchestrators of all reality, right?
Thomas Pynchon, Pynchon. Okay, so this guy. So in this video, this guy talks about how there's a lot of people in the literary world that believe this guy was actually AI. Because there's only like 2 or 3 pictures of him everywhere. And no one's actually seen him. And they think that kind of like with Shakespeare, where they think a bunch of writers were putting out his shit. But there's only like 3 pictures of him anywhere. He supposedly marries this giant, like this very wealthy, powerful socialite in New York. There's no pictures of the weddings. There's nothing.
Wow, no kidding.
So the reason I bring that up is because I think, when you see that plane go into that building, how it doesn't make any sense physics wise, how it kind of goes into the building before anything happens. It's like, was that the first time? Because I believe, Isaac, that Q was a real attempt to see if AI could capture people's hearts and minds. If you see how it's written, it very much reminds me of an AI presentation.
Oh wow!
No
kidding. Yeah, and I've seen that video of the plane. It looks like it's behind a building, yet it
like
comes
it's
out in front of it.
In.
Yeah, and it made me think of the Pentagon video, right? So like, there's a video. So if you remember back in the day when this all happened, first of all, the Pentagon was only like 5 stories high. It wasn't that tall, but these guys who couldn't fly a plane were somehow able to sort of do a maneuver that was gliding parallel to the ground, but not too low, not too high, and they nailed it perfect. Dude. But the FBI went around. The story they gave when it happened, they went around and they collected, because there's a million businesses around this place, and they all have surveillance footage and surveillance cameras. The FBI went to all these gas stations and all these companies and confiscated all their surveillance videos. And what did we ever see? 25 years later, we saw one grainy, like 5 still images that looks like a missile. You can't even tell what the hell it is. Yeah. And I'm like, release the videos then. You guys have all these videos. Disprove all the conspiracy people right now. And they won't, because I think that either the AI generative video didn't work well for that one for some reason, or it really was a missile or something. I mean, it's just it's weird how they leave us enough clues, but then it's almost like they like us just debating this and arguing about what's real.
Get into Chud the Builder. I mean, it is the perfect psyop for everyone to fight with each other. This guy, he's calling people the M-word. There's rumors that he was trans before, hooked up with black trans, but he walks out on a bill. Supposedly the story is he walks out on a bill because they wouldn't let him live stream while he ate. So he walks out. He says the food didn't even come. He'd already left. So they arrest him. According to him, he does a live stream. He gets approached by the FBI and they interview him. They ask him if he knows, this is his words, if he knows all these people. He says no. And they ask him, do you want to shoot people? And his answer is, I pray every day that I never have to shoot a person. Then the next day, which is 2 days after the roast, where there's already racial tension, right? 2 days after the roast, this guy comes and tries to swing on him. He shoots himself. Now, this gets into George Floyd, the same thing as George Floyd, in that you have this moment, you have 2 people, and it's called nonlinear warfare, and there's enough on both sides, there's enough information on both sides so everyone fights with each other, right? Oh, was it self-defense? Should this guy be able to say the M-word? This guy is saying the M-word. The black guy has a criminal record of possible domestic violence against his girlfriend and all this shit. So both sides are like, oh, he's a criminal. He's a racist. Everyone's fighting with each other. Oh, this is freedom of speech. It's not freedom of speech. It has nothing to do with freedom of speech. He thinks freedom of expression and freedom of consequences is freedom of speech. It's not. Freedom of speech is the government, which is like, the real shit is domestic terrorism, which they want to do, where they can just black bag you. That's freedom of speech. Calling somebody the M-word, which I don't agree with. I love being called the M-word. I do jokes about it. But, that's not freedom of speech. That's a freedom of expression and freedom from consequences. But it's the perfect storm, so both sides fight with each other. They don't come together.
You're 100% correct. Until 2 days ago, I didn't know who Chud the Builder was. All of a sudden, I know this whole story that you literally just told me the story. I'm like, how did I know the whole story? I don't even know who this guy is. My wife yesterday, who's Chud the Builder? I tell her the whole story. I didn't even think about it because it's the same thing that I bet it's the same agenda that we talked, me and Johnny, that article we read where the feed is fake. I bet somebody ran a campaign to be like, let everybody argue about this crap online, so they can do whatever the heck it is they're going to do.
They don't come together, dude. And it's like, it's an old KGB thing. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's what it's all about. If we're fighting with each other, we're not fighting with the elites who want to bring in this Babylonian sorcery, dude. And I've been saying this forever. It's like, Jews are low-hanging fruit, dude. They want you mad at them. They want you to blame them. They love getting blamed because it gives them purpose. Right? Like they wake up in the morning. I mean, if we study trust fund kids, so many trust fund kids are in these civil rights movements because it gives them purpose in their life. Now you look at people who Asians have the highest standard of living than Jews, and then it goes back down. So you got these rich kids who need purpose. Like, there's so much anti-Semitism, and it just gives them purpose in their life to fight windmills like Don Quixote, thinking they're fighting monsters. So it's perfect for them. It's perfect for everybody. It leads us into these Noahide laws. But for me, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this, it's all Babylonian, dude. It's like sorcery. Whether, I saw you said something about the Kabbalah. I've had friends of mine going, that's not the Kabbalah. I go, okay. Like, dude, if I have a hammer here or I have a knife, I can cut bread with it, or I could stab somebody. Like, what am I using it for, right? So you got Kabbalah, you got Freemasonry, you got Jesuits, you got all these mystics using sorcery to manipulate the masses. So if you study the Greater Israel Project, it's basically this almost the same map as Babylon, as ancient Babylon, dude. It's like, I've said this years ago on Rogan. The old gods want to come out and play. They've been in the shadows forever. They're tired of it. They want to be worshipped. They want sacrifice. And these elites are doing that. What is your thoughts on that?
Dude, I'm on board 1,000,000%. I think that's what the adrenochrome child sacrifice stuff is with the and that's what's really happening at Zorro Ranch. That's why. Oh, I didn't finish the Zorro Ranch thing. Let me briefly. I know we're running out of time. So, and you agree about this on the Pugilist Substack. The guy who bought it, Donald Huffins, he bought Zorro Ranch just a couple years ago, and he's a MAGA bestie of Trump, right? Running for office in Texas, whatever. He buys the ranch, starts, and it's I don't remember how many acres. It's thousands of acres. It's a huge plot of land, right? But next to the mansion, you'll see there's a supposedly a helicopter landing pad. It's this massive pad that has concentric circles in it, and he immediately starts digging the helicopter pad, in quotes, I'm putting it in quotes, that helicopter pad, he immediately starts digging that up. And fast forward, and now there's all these complaints in the New Mexico. The new attorney general is like, hey, we need to research this because the Epstein files said there's a bunch of crazy stuff happening. And there's all these women who said they were put into these underground like medical complexes and had their eggs harvested. And, Epstein's doing these transhuman experiments and all this weird stuff. We need to investigate because it never happened. So they go to investigate and they put a cease and desist, and it's already too late. Huffins already dug up this whole thing.
Yeah, dude. Well, unbelievable.
The Epstein files says there's kids buried out there, and I think that's what he was digging up. And when I was talking, I did I just recorded with the confessionals, and
I love them.
Joel, yeah, they're great. Tony and Joel Thomas were there, and Joel was telling me, he's like, yeah, when you see those concentric circles, that's considered a sort of portal, a realm where you can make contact or offerings to these alien gods. I said, well, that makes sense then. That's where they're burying the child sacrifices, and that's why Huffins immediately started digging that section up just to get rid of the evidence. That's my crazy conspiracy theory. But all of this is the whole point of this is to manifest the Kabbalah idea that they need to get rid of humanity, and because we're in this prison planet, and it's like this all these things sort of, and this is my oversimplified belief, researching all these different occult religions and philosophies, is they basically all believe that this realm that we live in is a false world, and we need to get up to the pleroma where the real God lives, aka the monad. And it all goes into like it's like Plato's allegory of the cave. It's like everything down here is an illusion, which is kind of true because they're making it an illusion because they magically present nonsense to us. But all of these sort of dark enlightenment figures, they all believe this sort of thing, and that's why when you research, look up what religion does Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, Mark Andreessen, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Sam Altman, Larry Ellison. What's their religion? Look them all up. You'll find that it's all sort of like this vague, like, oh, they don't discuss it publicly and no one knows. And it's like, well, that tells me a lot. That tells me like they're hiding something. And I think
100%.
They all subscribe to the same idea that they need to get rid of humanity through occult practices and put us into this digital consciousness AI hellscape that they're creating for us.
Did you hear about the theory behind the dentist chair?
No, what's that?
So there's a dentist chair at Zorro Ranch. And
yeah.
I guess his ex-girlfriend or his latest girlfriend was a dentist. And the theory is that they were taking the teeth out of kids so they wouldn't bite back.
Oh yeah, I have heard something like that. Yeah, I've heard
Jesus,
crazy
man.
stuff, man. And I've heard that if you look up living dolls, I heard that could be something they were doing there, which is it's really dark stuff, man. And the dentistry thing is also I've because he did pay for, I think her name is Caroline Schulich, and she's still alive, and she's like the key benefactor from the Epstein estate. And he paid for her dental school, and it's like, why would he pay for her dental school, right? While he was dating her, unless there was some reason he needed her to do medical dental procedures. And it's like, are they removing teeth so that you can't locate the bodies or something? I don't know, man. There's so much darkness in that Epstein case, and that's why they'll never release the real files about what really was happening. And that's what bugs me. People, I don't know what people think. It's like, you don't think the FBI had a marker board with the red string connecting all these dots? They know the full story. They know it, right? They know the full story. They're not giving it to us. Instead, they're doing the same thing with the UFO disclosure files, where they're like, oh, let's drop some files and maybe you guys could figure it out. Like, bitch, you guys already figured it out. Tell us what you figured out, man. Like, I need the Netflix documentary series. Show me what the whole scope of this thing was. But they'll never do it because it's too dark, man. It gets into such like demonic realms, and they can't sort of let us know that, because it would, I mean, that's the only thing that would shake the world up more than anything, is like, oh, these guys are sacrificing kids to alien gods. That's pretty crazy, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
so dark.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude.
And so many people have revealed themselves as just phony, hypocritical. I mean, it's a real cult of personality around Trump, even more than I thought. You know, the movement is. What was it? Nick Fuentes or somebody was like, it's not a political movement. It's just him. It's so many people just whatever he says, that's what they're going to go with, because there were so many people that were claiming at least to be in favor of, we're getting the Epstein, like fully, clearing the air with respect to that. And now they're all like, there's nothing there. We got it all.
And I'm going to be honest with you, dude. And I know I'm going to lose a lot of people on this, but like Thomas Massie didn't actually do anything. Like he tried, from what we, it's like, I'm trying to get this out. Nothing happened. It's all fucking theater. And it's like, I like Thomas Massie. I do think, his childhood Freemasonry is suspect. But it's like, everything's theater, dude. And it's like, when you need a hero, we'll supply it. When they need a villain, we'll supply that too. That was attributed to Albert Pike. And it just seems like that's what's going on right now. And if people don't wake up to that, there are apex predators all around you. And listen, dude, lately you're either vote for a neocon Zionist or a progressive Bolshevik. Both of them want to collapse the country. They're just doing it from different angles.
Seems like it, huh?
And
I think that there's naturally enough pushback to this AI digital matrix stuff that they want to put us in, because what these nerds don't understand, and I question if they're not aliens on some level, what they don't get is that humans crave human connection. So when they flood TikTok or whatever with like AI videos, eventually people are going to leave, because it's like, I don't get on here to see fake videos about, fake puppies. I want to see real puppies do funny things, like
I know so many people who don't care, bro. I know so many people who don't care. Yeah.
Oh, see, maybe I'm wrong.
I know,
that was my thing. I think the second I don't know what's real and what's not, like I'm out. Like I don't want to see fake stuff.
I agree, man. But there's so many people I know personally, like some of them maybe in this Zoom call, who just they're like, yeah, it's entertaining, like.
Yeah, it's sad. I was actually I went back east last week to see my grandmother. She's in a nursing home, right? She's not doing so well, whatever.
Oh, sorry, man.
And yeah, I was fine. She's I was just like kind of see what she does all day, right? And I was like, you watching soap operas or what, and she's like, oh, I like to watch like cat videos on YouTube. I was like, all right, let's watch some cat videos, right? So she puts on this channel, whatever, and the video ends, and it automatically plays the next one. The next video was like this AI story about this bobcat with a glove that was like, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter, but I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is clearly AI. The glove's got like 7 fingers, and the cat, stuff doesn't make sense to me, but she doesn't know, man. And I don't want to like tell her, like, but it's sad to me. It's sad to me, like the deception. And you could argue that, well, like grandma thinks it's a fun little story. It makes her feel good. Who cares? And I mean, that's a valid point, but to me, I'm like, no, I want to, like, this is messed up, man. This isn't a real thing. And you're manipulating her and making her think it's real. So it's strange times we're living in, man. And these are a lot of philosophical arguments I don't think most people are equipped or care to even think about, but it's weird times for sure.
Do you think there'll be a not a warning, but like this is AI content right before you watch it?
I feel like that would be the happy medium, right? Is like okay, make the stuff. People like it. Just let them know so they can make that choice, right?
Right, but who enforces that? Like how at some point when because these AI programs can be run locally, and then if you're just doing it on your own machine, why would you do that? Why would you put that? Why would you voluntarily put that on there if your whole thing is to go viral? Anyway. I mean,
crazy times.
We're really. It sounds like we're dependent on the social media companies to do the right thing, and that's not a place you want to be. As a human,
Yeah,
they're not. Yeah,
my thought is that I made a sort of prediction show at the beginning of the year, and one of the predictions is that social media is going to go by the wayside. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I was probably a little overzealous about that, but I think in the next few years, I think that people will start leaving.
Replace with what? Like inhuman, like interpersonal, like
CrossFit, I guess. I don't know.
They're talking about how kids are going back to the mall now. Listen, my daughter. Listen, we can't let them go play outside. We live in LA. That's why I want to get out of Los Angeles. We can't get. I can't let them outside. I don't know anyone around me. So they come inside and they play on their pads, and everyone you can yell. But my daughter is a great reader. She has an incredible vocabulary. Not her attention span probably is about as bad as her dad's, but she's over her pad. She doesn't play on it as much as she did. She's not watching long form on television and all that shit. She's reading a lot more.
That's good.
I think people get bored of it. Like, dude, I go on Instagram, I go to my suggestions, I'm disgusted in 2 seconds and get right off it. It's all bad. I know my algorithm's much different than everybody else's. It's just butts, but I'm just over it. I'm just over it, dude. And listen, I wish I could stop. Dana's because I bought a little safe to put my phone in so I could be like, no more. And Dave's like, why can't you just quit? I'm like, dude, I'm a drug addict and a fucking alcoholic. Why are you asking me?
Safe
to lock my phone in. I got a third phone. I'm about to activate it.
Oh, that'll fix it. Another phone. That's cool.
No, but dude, I'm not going to put emails on it. I'm not putting any apps on it.
I thought that's what the second phone was for.
No, the second phone is my social media phone. So I have because social media just scrapes all your data. So I don't put anything on there. And I put no fucking banking stuff. I put nothing. I don't watch anything on there. I don't go on the internet. It's just Instagram, Twitter. That's it. Nothing else. And so I'm going to have a third phone because this one has all my banking on it. So I want to leave it at home. I don't even want it to leave. So I'm just going to have this phone that's going to have texting, calling, GPS, and Zoom on it for my recovery meetings. That's it. Nothing else.
The problem is now all that social media shit, you can get it in the web browser. So if somebody sends you a link on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Listen, I'm really good on my social media phone. I don't look at any adult films on there. I just don't do it. I'm like, nope, this is not that phone. So I'm just going to have a phone for calling and texting and driving. That's it. Anyways, Isaac, the hour went so fast. It's unbelievable.
It goes by, man. Hey, I wanted to before you let me go, I wanted to ask you guys.
Get the fuck out of here! No,
did you guys decide who's on the 1000th Mount Crushmore already, or is that still up for debate?
Great thing. We don't decide. It's not us. So we're going to have in about a week. We're gonna probably 3 weeks out from the 1000th. We're gonna do it. We're going to have a poll on Twitter. Who do you think, this is how you got nominated and put on Mount Crushmore. We're going to ask who, you cannot vote for these 5 people that are already on there. Who do you think should be the next 4 on Mount Crushmore? And we'll see who votes, and we don't decide, dude.
you gonna have a multiple choice with like every single guest, or
Nope,
just like the most?
who's your suggestion?
Oh,
Tweet
okay.
replies. And that's
Okay.
how I counted it last time, and I'll count it again.
Holy shit. All right, man. I love that, dude. Yeah, you know what? I think, and this isn't me glazing, but honestly, I think Mark Steves should be nominated because, A, the dude books the fucking greatest guests, but B, that 2025 end of the year wrap up show was fucking comedy. That was like my favorite tinfoil hat episode ever, man.
Mark,
I was
hey,
like,
you
you
guys
guys need to
can
get
vote
Mark on
for
here
Mark
more.
Steves.
That is
Mark
right.
Steve can
Yeah.
be voted.
I'm
You
going
can
Jay-
totally vote him.
And the guest.
Jay Dyer.
Yeah.
Jay
Yeah.
Dyer should
Jay Dyer, Jamie Hanshaw, Mark
you
Steve.
can-
There's a bunch of, there's
you
so many
can-
good guests, man.
You can vote a ton of times. This is all about mail-in voting right now, dude. There's no secured election here. It's
I love
mail-in voting, and that's how it's gonna go, dude. And
Hell yeah.
more people will make it unless there's a tie. Like I think you and Santos were tied, so you both made it. Or no, it was you made it in, and then I think Santos and Matt LaCroix were like tied. So they both got on.
Right on, man. I love it, dude. I love you guys. You guys are great, man. This show's awesome.
Isaac, I hope you can make it out. I know it's last minute, but if you do make it out, we'd love to have you come and hang out with us. I know it's last minute, but if you can make it, please do. It's going to be a good time.
Man, that's tempting. I'll see what I can do. Thanks,
All
man.
right,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
All right, guys, enjoy the highlight. Let's break down the episode. Hey guys, real quick, let's get into it. Isaac Weishaupt, Mount Crushmore, thoughts.
You know, I noticed something that he says his name Isaac Weishaupt, and you've always said Weishaupt, and I say it that way, but he does not say his name that way, which I thought was notable, interesting.
Well, it's kind of a made-up name, so I could say it however I want to say it.
Felt led astray by you.
Don't. I mean, dude, it's interpretation. It's not his real name, so I can say it however
His real name, but
feel-
it is a real name.
but it's not technically his real name, so it's kind of open to interpretation.
I think in German we would say Weishaupt.
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 Isaac Weishaupt. Johnny, get Nazi up in here, guys. Love Isaac, Mount Crushmore
For sure.
for life.
I was down.
And you know it's a great episode when it just flies.
Yeah.
I mean, that was some flow, dog.
It flew. It flew so fast that it's nighttime outside right now.
Look, that's how fast it went, Johnny.
Yeah.
It went so fast. It was like a 12-hour show in an hour and a half.
It's 9:30 now.
My God, we
How did
just
this
cook
happen?
with gas. We're just blessed.
Were we abducted by aliens? Is that what happened? Could it be?
The only thing we didn't get into probing. Guys, I want to make a new shirt or something for the 1000th where it's us with an alien and the alien's on all fours and it says, "We do the probing."
We do the probing around here. Yeah.
We do the probing around here.
That's funny. That's funny.
See, but that's why we need those those super long
Those
data
dongs.
centers. Those
You'd
dongs.
love more
Those-
dongs, dude.
Those long
we-
data centers. Look how long these videos are. If we're gonna do videos like this, we need some data.
We forgot to talk to him about Jeremy Corbell's documentary. Have you guys seen it? It just came out.
Don't get into it. Talk to me about
Yeah,
it.
talk
Talk
What is
to me
it called?
about it.
It's called Sleeping Dog. And you guys know Jeremy Corbell. He's the guy that does all the podcast rounds and kind of is part of this disclosure movement generally. And it follows his journey with this from like a passing interest to becoming obsessed. And there's this it's interesting to the extent that his story is interesting, and it is, but there's this moment that's infuriating toward the end where he goes out in the desert and digs up like a thumb drive out of a box and puts it into his computer. And then you see he's got folders and folders that have the most enticing titles.
Names on them.
Yeah, like
Hot Latina with a fat ass. You're like,
Something like
oh,
that,
open
yeah.
that, and it's like nothing.
But it's all, and it's all related to UAP aliens, like, alien bodies, examined by coroners and just all shit like that. And they show none of it during the documentary. It's all just the same old shit. And he talks and he kind of gives this like, are people ready for this? Can they handle it? And I mean, he's worried for his life. Other people are telling him to be fearful for his life, and it's I couldn't help but get the feeling we're being jerked around by that guy a little bit.
Did you finish the doc?
Yeah. What am I, a child? Yeah, of course.
Johnny, now when he jerked you off, was it knuckles up that way or this way? How'd you do it? Did he use all the fingers, or you only have to go 3?
Well, you need 2 hands, bro.
I know. That's what I've heard, Johnny. It's unbelievable.
But do you get that feeling, though, that we're just...
Dos handos. Is that how they say it in Spanish when you got 2 hands?
Dos handos? Yeah, that's it.
Dos
manos. You've been living in LA for too long. You should know what mano means.
Why? Why do I need to know the word hand when I go to Taco Bell? I don't, okay?
Get your
Dos
hand out of your butt.
handos, sir, would you like a burrito or a taco? Dos handos. Dos manos.
He's like getting jerked off at Taco Bell for those condos.
Hand jobs.
Yeah.
You want some hot sauce with that, sir? Sure, lube it up.
This whole disclosure thing we talked about on BS a little bit. It's just been incredibly disappointing up to this
Yeah,
point.
I mean, like, look at this Christmas ornament. Ooh, my kids wouldn't even care.
Yeah, and then there's been this, even on mainstream news, there's been this reporting based on this interview with this one scientist who believes just about anything anybody's ever told him about aliens, saying that they're, repeating the same thing we've heard for years. If you listen to this show, you know about the 4 so-called species, all humanoid, by the way, meaning they all have like 2 legs. They're bipedal, like us, have heads and arms.
Oh yeah,
it's like the Star Trek aliens, It's
100.
like
you're telling me somewhere they wouldn't have like 4 arms, which is probably better.
Yeah, exactly. They're all Star Trek. They're all like Star Trek, where we could easily make a regular human look like.
And they could
with a low
probably
budget.
hook up with us. Probably too.
But they say that the reptilians, the like arachnids, some shit like that. There's the Nordics, and then there was, what was the other one? Do you guys remember? But it's all, I mean, it's just the same old shit we've been hearing for decades now. And I like that the Nordics are just tall white people, basically. Like, it could be Dirk Nowitzki.
We're just Euros, Dirk Nowitzki's with black girlfriends.
Yeah.
I am a Nordic. This is my girlfriend Shaniqua.
What if that's that interbreeding program they were talking about, that interspecies breeding?
Yeah, what if Ben Johnson was right when he said interracial? It was literally interracial. It was a bunch of tall whites banging hot black ass.
Yeah, aliens, we've come to take your hottest black ass.
And all the black chicks and their husbands to work with a plate of food. Do you guys remember when
Wo ist Lacey Duval, Peter? Wo ist Lacey Duval?
It's literally what Wemby is literally one of their first creations.
Could be. Yeah.
What are we gonna do with this guy? He's 7'4". Basketball. Damn, dog. Put him in.
He's the first Nordic not to be so pale. It's amazing.
He's the first one to go outside and not burn instantly.
Yeah. We call him Daywalker. What if that's Dirk's kid with some black porn star? That would be great.
Well, Burke likes black ass. He's always liked black ass. That's why I love Dallas, because the only place would be better was probably Houston. He's like, I might go play in Houston. They have nice black chicks. Shut up, Nordic. Real quick, if you go to samtripoli.com, you can check out all the dates. Going to be in Costa Mesa, going to be in
it's Tiana Trump.
Costa Mesa, Albuquerque. 1,000 episodes sold out, but after party. We got to discuss all the stuff. Miami. We also have Joke World, the Joke World inaugural festival, Lawrence, Kansas. Where else do we got? And a bunch of others. Go check out all my premium content. All my videos are there. My thumbnails are fire. Johnny can't stop talking about them. Johnny, talk about Cash Daddies real quick. 2 seconds.
Yeah, Howie Dewey is a
idiot savant, heavy on the idiot.
Yeah, that's your line. Yeah, he's someone who can make sense of the madness of the markets right now, and also, like Isaac mentioned earlier, it's just a good community. It's good people to hang out with, and you can ask questions of this idiot savant, and have them answered for you.
One of the best ever do it. Howie Dewey. Howie Dewey. One of the best ever did it. Check out more stuff. I got Dying Laughing. You check out my favorite credit I ever did. Also, there is I got a call the Paranoid American. I cannot get GoFundMe to put in my banking info. Also, check out all of our tinfoil hat. We're looking for t-shirt ideas. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for precious metals. Harley Ray, John, go up. What do you think I'm
Not me. Don't yell at me.
My bad.
Akira hydrogen brown gas, Harley Ray for crystals, candles, chemical free body took it today. I got bricked up about it. EMF, if you hate dirty electricity, and I know you do because I hate it too, go check out EMF Rocks. Prometheus, if you want a decentralized website, and then Brain Supreme, if you like every time XG asks a good question, just know he's tripping. So check that out. Johnny, do you have anything you want to promote?
Check out Broken Simulation. It's a podcast and it's a good one.
Okay, awesome. Xavier, is there anything you are interested about?
Hit that like button and leave a comment. I'm the one who replies to the tinfoil hat comments on YouTube, so it really helps out. Please.
Thank you, guys. And go to youtube.com/tinfoilhatofficial. And subscribe to the show, dude. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the show. Anyways, it was a great episode. It's always an honor to have Isaac Weishaupt. He may set the record for most times on the show. I think he might be it. It's either him or Eddie Bravo, I think, are the two most on the show.
Must be, right?
Yeah, must be.
So what are the chances of Mark being on the Mount Crushmore? I think he actually might have a chance now that
if the people vote him on, he is on Mount Crushmore.
Yeah, that makes about as much sense as voting for Ed Gallrein, by the way.
Well, if APAC comes in on the side of Mark, he's going to get it, dude. He's gonna get it, dude, for sure.
That's one thing we've learned in this country is that whatever APAC wants, APAC gets.
Yeah, that's what we've learned, dude. It's unbelievable. And dude, I mean, just going into Zorro Ranch, just so you know, guys, Zorro Ranch won 2 lotteries for like 20 million and something else. It's so fucking rigged. I think all lotteries are rigged. They were talking about that. I think all lotteries are rigged. I think that they talked about like 70% of winners are CIA. Do you guys know that? It's like some huge number.
Anytime they say like some X number of people are CIA, how do they know? What CIA people don't go around telling everybody they work in the CIA. How do you know that?
I mean, some do. Some are like, I love the CIA. It's my time. It's the greatest time of all time.
Yeah, but it's easy to hide that you win the lottery when they let you hide your identity. And
yeah, some states don't. Some states do.
Oh, some states.
Yeah, it's state dependent. Yeah.
Oh. Because I mean, obviously, it works out for a fucking billionaire to rig it, and he doesn't have to announce that he's already rich and he fucking won it 3 times.
Also, if you're a billionaire playing the lottery, you're an asshole. Like, come on, dude. Stop playing.
If you're playing the lottery, you're an asshole?
No, I said if you're a billionaire and you're playing the lottery, you're an asshole.
Yeah, it's so crazy, dude. So crazy. All right. Well, great show. Love it, Isaac.